And now that we have come to chapter 4 about the transport in plants, so in this chapter we will be exploring on actually it is a revision on the vascular tissues, the functions. Vascular tissues consist of xylem tissues and also the phloem tissues. We will also be discussing about the transport of water and mineral salts, okay, which is carried out by the xylem tissues. What is translocation and what is phyto remediation? So there are questions over here for you to ponder. Is that you have to look at the role of the vascular tissues in revision, and then you'll be answering on how water and mineral salts be transported to all parts of the plant, and what is the translocation pathway in plants, and how do phytoremediation plants control water and soil pollution. So phyto is related to plants, and that remediation here comes from the word remedy, ramuan. So it's like a treatment, okay, to control water and soil pollution. So phytoremediation, uh, for for your information, is something new under your KSSM syllabus. Okay, so this term is a new term for your KSSM biology. So the wonders of transport in plants. So this picture is from your textbook. So you can see very huge tree. This is the sequoia species. Is one of the tallest tree in the world. And that very interesting fact is that this tree can absorb up to 1000 kg of water from the soil. Imagine that is the source of the water, so it's from beneath. It's the root being the main organ absorbing water. And how is it going to transport it to the stem and leaves up to the height of about 100 meters? So this is what we'll be looking at. So like humans, we know plants, they also have effective transportation system in that they need to absorb, they transfer, store, and also utilize water. So water is very essential for living things, for organisms, and especially for plants. All right, and this system, okay, this system of transportation that we are referring to consists of a network of channels which are formed from vascular bundles. Alright, so this water nutrient transportation pathway is similar to the vascular system which is in our body. Okay, you still remember that our transport system in the body is referring to the blood circulatory system. Okay, it is somewhat similar. So xylem tissues in the system, okay, it begins from the root and that they are connected to the stems, to the branches, to the twigs, and to the leaves. So there's network, there's connection, okay, among all these organs. And also for phloem tissues as well, there's connection. But what is the function of phloem tissues? That they transport nutrients, sugars, which are from where? Okay, just now is from the soil, okay, up to the plants, to the leaves. So it is against the gravity, okay, for water transportation together with the dissolved mineral salts. But for phloem, they are transporting nutrients, sugars, or in other words, the products of photosynthesis, the organic substances. And we know that the leaves is actually the main place, the main organ where photosynthesis is being carried out. Okay, so when we come to describe the direction of these organic substances, it is from the leaves to other parts of the plants, such as the stem and the roots, and that they will be used for cellular respiration as well as storage. Okay, so we're talking about the organic substances, the glucose, the sugar. Okay, next is that, just to recap that we have gone through all these 3 chapters and we are at this point right now, transport in plants, and that these are the keywords, essential keywords that you need to take note. So xylem vessel, sieve tube, these two, they are referring to they are involved in the transportation of water and mineral salts. Okay, whereas for companion cell and trachete, the xylem vessels together with trachete, the sieve tube with the companion cells. Okay, sieve tube and companion cells, they are the good friends that are involved in the transportation of the organic substances. Also, adhesion and cohesion forces, this is revision for you since you have learned about these, you have come across these when you discuss the properties of water molecules back in your Form 4, Chapter 4, Chemical Composition in a Cell. Okay, then what is root pressure? What is capillary action? Capillary action is related to these two forces, adhesion and cohesion force. Okay, and then what is guttation? What is translocation? And then what is this phyto remediation? Okay, so let's go into the chapter first by looking at the structural adaptations of the xylems and also the trachetes. Okay, so xylem vessels, and the trachetes, which are responsible to transport water with the mineral salts. So from here, this is a cross section which you can see here at the stem. This point it is cut, so it is observed underneath the microscope, and this is what you get to see, holes like these. Okay, xylem vessels. Okay, also next to it, this is the trachetes, seem almost similar. Okay, one time looking at it seems like almost the same, but just that it has a tapered end over here. Okay, so later on we will look further into the functions, okay, into the structure. But before that, let's recall xylem's responsibility. We know xylem's main function is to transport water and mineral salts. Then you have to mention the direction. It is from the roots to the stems to the leaves, okay, so to other parts of the plants. So it begins here at the roots. So therefore you imagine from here all the way going up. So that means water and mineral salts, they have to go up against the gravity. Okay, another important function that students tend to forget is that they are responsible to provide mechanical support. Okay, mechanical support. Why? Something related to the structure, okay, that is real tough, and therefore this hollow space, this so-called the tube, is able to provide mechanical support to the plant. Now, let's look at xylem vessels. Okay, remember xylem vessels, the good partner is the trachete. So the xylem vessels first that we will be looking at, which consists of dead cells at maturity. Okay, remember that they don't have cytoplasm and that the cells are longitudinal from end to end, forming continuous tubes. As you can see right here, it's like a long piping system. Okay, why is it so? Because they want to allow water to flow from the roots to the leaves. So from the roots down here to the leaves, to the stem, to other parts of the plants. Okay, so it has to be hollow, continuous tube. And then this fact that you need to know is that their walls have uneven lignin thickening, which will give them strength, and that it will prevent them from collapsing because of the tension force, pressure changes when the water is passing through it. Okay, so imagine this pipe is not strong. Imagine the water which is flowing in here with those tension forces and also the pressure changes, sometimes high pressure. Okay, and then how is it going to affect this tube? This tube must be tough. It must not be something which is fragile and easily collapse. So Then how is this xylem vessel able to sustain? Is because it has this uneven lignin thickening. This is the secret of it being so strong. Okay, and therefore it is able to prevent the plant from being bent. Okay, tidak akan what do you call that, membengkok because of this tough structure. Okay, now let's look at the best friend of xylem vessel, which is Dracade. So this Dracade wall has also got this lignified thickening, lignin thickening. So in other words, they are also lignified lah. And the pits itu adalah lubang-lubang dekat sini, which you can see to allow water movement to the adjacent cells. Maksudnya dia membenarkan air itu mengalir ataupun bergerak ke sel-sel yang berhampiran, adjacent cells. Okay, so that is about it on xylem vessels and Dracades, and there's one activity over here. Okay, to observe the structure of xylem in a longitudinal cross-section of the celery stalk. Okay, ini batang sadari ini. Okay, very delicious vegetables. Okay, so these are the materials, apparatus, procedure. Okay, 150 ml of distilled water into a beaker with red dye, 5 drops, and that you have to stir it so that it is thoroughly mixed. Okay, and then properly mixed, and that you have to soak this celery stalk into the beaker and leave it there for about an hour. So after that, you have to rinse the celery color using distilled water. Okay, rinse it, and then you have to cut a thin layer of the stalk horizontally. Maksudnya kamu potong keratan rentas begini, and you have to place it on a glass slide, which has a drop of distilled water. Wet mounting punya teknik, ini penyediaan slide. Then you have to cover with the cover slip. Okay, cover the slide with the cover slip, and the technique is that you have to observe under the light microscope. Seperti biasa, you start with a low power objective lens followed by high power objective lens. That's how you're gonna do it. Okay, the proper procedure. You get an overview first, and that you have to sketch a figure to show the distribution of coloring. So what to expect? Okay, apa yang akan kamu jangkakan? So you have to recall those previous chapters that you have learned, the cross-section of the stem of the eudicote or the monocot plants. Then where is the how is the arrangement of the xylem? Okay, the arrangement of the phloem. So if you have forgotten about it, you may need to go back to those the chapters, the previous chapters. Okay, chapter 1 and 2. Okay, so discussion here is that you have to name the colored tissue. Sebab dia sudah direndam dalam cecair air merah ini. Okay, it's the eosin solution. So, namakan the colored tissue, that means the one that is red. So, definitely itu adalah yang mengangkut air dan juga garam mineral. Definitely it's the xylem tissue. Okay, since this is a herbaceous plant, that means dia ini bukan yang ada tumbuhan berkayu. So without wood, no woody tissues, how is it able to get support itself? Okay, from the xylem tissues. So this one you have to apply what you've just learned about the xylem vessels, is that it has this uneven lignin thickening. Okay, to give strength to the xylem vessels, prevent them from collapsing due to the tension force, pressure changes whenever water is moving through it. Okay, this is activity 4.1. Okay, next we're going to look at the structural adaptations of the sieve tubes with the companion cells. Okay, and now we shift our topic of from transporting water and mineral salts just now to transporting organic substances. Okay, itu hasil-hasil photosynthesis, okay, such as sucrose. So it's the phloem tissues that we are referring to. Okay, so unlike xylem, phloem is a living cell. Okay, why? Because it has cytoplasm. So you look at the cross section of the stem. Okay, for this is the phloem. Okay, you have the companion cell yang lebih kecil nampaknya. Cross section, pandangan cross section, you get to see the phloem has a bigger circle and then the companion cell ni lebih kecil. Again, that you have this xylem. So xylem phloem tu adalah jiran itu. Okay, you have to go back to see the cross section of the stem. Now, under these phloem tissues, you have the sieve tube and also the companion cells. Okay, so nampak di sini ada perforation plate. Perforation plate, I'm not sure what's the term in BM, but perforated means ada lubang lah. Okay, ada lubang, so you expect something to pass through. Okay, so there's also this sieve plate. Okay, so by the name itself, sieve tubes. So batang ini yang panjang in this network is actually the sieve tubes. Yang tepi kecil-kecil dekat sini, so you get to see the bigger circle here and also the smaller circle over right here. Those smaller ones, they are the companion cell. Daripada nama, you already can guess that this companion cell ini adalah kawan baik bagi sieve tube. Okay, it accompanies the sieve tube wherever it goes. So how do sieve tubes, companion cells adapt to the functions? Sieve tubes ini, this one, they do not have nuclei, ribosomes, vacuoles. Dia punya adaptation. No nucleus, just like the red blood cells. Okay, there's no ribosomes, no vacuoles. Vacuoles ini related to storage of those dissolved substances, water. So in cerita vacuoles ini is related to xylem, but for phloem, no, we don't have that. They don't have that. So this allows sucrose molecules to pass through the sieve tubes easily. See, look at here, the both ends of the sieve tube. Okay, dua hujung itu, hujung atas, hujung bawah for the sieve tube is that they have this sieve plate yang ada pores. That's why this perforated ada lubang. Then you already can guess that these pores are the one which the organic compounds can flow from one sieve tube to the next. Okay, and the companion cells ini pula, okay, kawan baik bagi sieve tube, accompany the sieve tube. So apa dia punya fungsi is that these companion cells are very special, that they contain mitochondria. They provide energy. Mitochondria to the site of cellular respiration. Hopefully you still remember the function of this cell component. It is also known as the powerhouse because it is the place where cellular respiration happens. And you know cellular respiration generates energy in the form of ATP, and that this energy is needed to transport sucrose. Okay, remember that this is the products of photosynthesis, and that's why it is understandable when you say that it is from the leaf, which is the main organ to carry out photosynthesis, and then pergi mana to the sieve tube. Okay, and then this process is active transport. Okay, whenever it requires the expenditure of energy, then this is no longer down the concentration gradient, but it is against the concentration gradient, and this is active transport. Okay, now that is about it for 4.1.